10 steps to awaken your financial genius. So these are basically 10 steps that he kind of lists that are basically implied throughout the book that he talks about are very, very important to working towards your financial freedom and to basically get out of a rut. It's not be the majority. And we're going to get into those. Number 1, find a reason greater than reality. Basically, you just need to find a reason to become financially free. He said it in the book at one point, you have to be selfish, because if that what drives you, if you want to be financially free, if you want to be able to travel, if you want to be able to live where you want to be able to do this and that, then that gives you something to work towards. You might have to be selfish, but it gives you that motivation to really want to grow and learn and hop on these opportunities to see what it is that's really there and how you can get to your goals faster. It's not always bad to be selfish, especially if it's trying to push and work you towards something you desire. Step 2, make daily choices. This is all kind of relates back to Atomic Habits. You gotta choose every day to make the right choice, to read the book, to go to the gym, to network and to talk to people, to go have these conversations, to actually invest time into something that's worthwhile instead of just sitting back and doing nothing. You have to make those choices every day to get one step closer to what it is you're working towards. And that could be anything. And you got to realize that on your own, but you got to try to be a little better every day, because it's those daily choices that make the difference in the long run. Consistency is key, and it does not matter what it's in, financially, educationally, physically, mentally, health-wise. It all matters. If you can stay consistent, that's the most important thing in the long run. If you have a few days where you fall out, yeah, it's okay, but you can get back on track. And it's just important to get on track sooner than later and not to fall back into old habits where you don't work towards something that's better than yourself or bigger than yourself, possibly. Step 3, choose your friends carefully. We've talked about this in other podcasts as well. The people you surround yourself with are going to have a large impact. Doesn't necessarily mean you need to cut people out of your life that aren't working towards the same things, but at least choose to learn from their situations. Robert talks about having friends that are poor and learning from mistakes they make, and he's still friends with them. But he's also has friends that were very wealthy, and it's not necessarily he wants to be around those people because he expects money. But most of the time in a situation like that, if you have someone that's wealthier and knows more, and you have someone like yourself that comes in that has that drive and determination, and you want to reach that, it's very likely for those people to want to at least help you and point you in the right direction and support you because they want to see you thrive. So it's very important to understand who you surround yourself with, because it can have a very large impact of your future and what it holds. Step 4, master a formula and then quickly move on to the next. It's better to be a master of... I'm messing up the quote. I'm sorry. It's better to know a little about a lot than to know a lot about little. There's better ways that works, but basically you want to try to learn and have a broad spectrum of knowledge. You don't want to be a master in one field because that makes you reliable on that one thing. If you go too far into one sector and that's the only thing you know, it's a lot harder to get out. But if you keep yourself broad and you know a little bit about a lot of topics and a lot of subjects. It allows you to be adaptive and to grow off of all of them. And I feel like that's kind of what he's following with step 4 is once you learn and understand one situation, move on and try to learn something else that you don't know and just keep doing that. Keep growing the knowledge base and growing the information you have, because it's only going to lead to hopefully future money and opportunities down the road. Step 5, always pay yourself first to enhance your self-discipline. This is one thing he says, and yes, it's hard to believe, but always pay yourself first. His rich dad said that he would pay himself even if he had debt or other people to pay, because it then motivated him to find ways to produce and make more money. And yeah, that's might feel a little stressful, but it makes sense in some way or another. It's like sometimes when you get your money, put that money in your assets, save, invest, before you then take your money and put it into food, your rent, your taxes, and all your expenses. Set up an automatic transfer as soon as your paycheck comes in to go into your Roth, to go into your savings, to go into something else, and don't touch it, and just move it. Don't think about it. Live off of what you have, and that is it. That's what I did last year, and that's what I'm starting to do more now. I kind of fell out of it, but it's very, very true, and it makes you live to that challenge, and because of it, it's going to help you in the long road. Is it going to be a challenge to basically practically live paycheck to paycheck in the sense of having to still pay your expenses but not live off of a lot within the next couple weeks or something, depending on your income? Yeah, but at least you're putting the money into something that's important to you. You're paying yourself. You're putting it into assets that eventually will help you in the long run to get out of the rat race. Step 6, pay your brokers well. It's important to have someone that knows more than you don't. It's that arrogant thing. It's very important to pay someone that's going to help you make money. If you have a broker that helps you set up real estate investments, if you have a broker that helps you set up stock portfolios, it's worth it to pay them well, or even someone that handles your taxes like a CPA. It's worth paying them well, because it's way better to pay them than to pay for a fuck up down the road. Because if you messed up on your taxes, or you messed up on an investment, or you didn't get the right information, and you lose tens of thousands of dollars because you were too arrogant to go pay for someone that knows what they're doing, that's a big mistake, and that's going to cost you. It's better to just pay someone up front that knows what they're doing than try to necessarily always figure it out on your own and lose money in the process because of some simple mistake. Go to the experts. Step 7, be an Indian giver. I have to admit, this is the one thing that confused me in the book. And I think it was basically saying that when the Indians and the Pilgrims were together, the Indians gave blankets to the Pilgrims, and the Pilgrims mistake them as gifts and decided to keep them. And the Indians were upset, but there wasn't much they could do about it, so they kept them. I think this basically means that when the opportunity kind of arises, and if someone kind of just lets something in some way befall on you, like an opportunity, a business, an asset, land, anything, just kind of take it and take it for what it's worth and get what you can out of it. Step number 8, use assets to buy luxuries. Don't take your income to go buy that car. Invest in what you need to in assets to then be able to afford the car you want. Invest in those assets because they're going to pay you in the long run. It's better for those assets to then afford those liabilities, or not those liabilities, but they will be, those luxuries than for you to then just pay for them outright from your income. Assets are the most important thing you can use. And if you use them properly, you will be successful. Step 9, choose heroes. Find anyone to look up to. Find a mentor. Like, you look up to Robert Kiyosaki. If you look up to Tony Robbins, if you look up to Alex Hormozi, Grant Cardone, any of these people, which I guess in a way I look up to all of those people that I just named. It's good to have heroes to learn from, because it gives you a chance to build off of the knowledge they've accumulated. Step 10, teach and you shall receive. One of the things that his rich dad instilled in him was generosity, both generosity in money, time, knowledge. Because whatever it is you want in the long run, if you give it, it's likely to come back to you in return. If you donate money, if you give to charity, if you do this and that, eventually money is going to come back to you in some form or another. And he's not necessarily saying that give all your money away because things will work out, but it is great to give, because you got to give now even when you don't have money. You can't just wait till you have money to give. And it allows you to just feel better. It's like that's a proven fact. But not only that, but teach people. If there's something you know, offer your knowledge for them to then learn, because they might know something you don't. Teaching and you shall receive. Because if you teach someone with something you know in some way, with how the world works, something might come back to you. That either, whatever it is, if you put good out into this world, something good will probably return.